Hello, YouTube. Hello, people watching Twitch VOD. How y'all doing? How are you? I'm here to talk about Adventure Time. I'm going to do that right now. I just want to make sure I have my chat up. Again, this is on YouTube, so if you're watching this YouTube, hello. I am streaming this, obviously. So let me just get the stream set up really quick, and we're gonna talk about Adventure Time for about like 15 minutes. You know what? I'm just gonna get started, and then I can't see the chat yet, but I will get to see it in a little bit. So hello, everybody. As you can tell, I never wore this hat. I have not worn this hat in like 5 years, and there's reasons for that. But I'm here to talk about Adventure Time. If you don't know what Adventure Time is, I don't know how that's possible. But it is a children's television show on Cartoon Network, and it is ending after a long 8 years on Cartoon Network. It is ending this Monday. Let me see how I'm sounding. I can now see the chat. A long 8-year. We're sounding good. A long 8-year run on Cartoon Network. It is one of the most influential shows ever. I'll talk about how it has a huge effect on me and my love for cartoons now, and I'll explain how even more. But let's get into Adventure Time. It's 8 years run. Just a little brief history about how the show was created and how it started, because it's actually very interesting. So I just really quick, how it was started was it was actually once a short on Nickelodeon, created for what I believe was called like Random Cartoons is what it was called. And basically it was like kind of like a series where you could sort of pitch cartoons and they might even be picked up for a show. I know a few shows got picked up out of these. They were pretty shitty shows. But Adventure Time, it was about like a 10-minute or so short. It came out in 2007 on Nickelodeon. It was like just a little short, and it blew up like on the internet. It became huge. I remember seeing it for the first time before the show, like back in 2007 when it first came out. I remember seeing it, laughing, and be like, "This is awesome. This is so cool." And then it never really got picked up. Nickelodeon just kind of abandoned it, and then Cartoon Network came, just picked it up, started airing it. Adventure Time started airing in 2010. It has aired since 2010, ending only this Monday, but it had a lot of interesting sort of rocky roads to first of all, the people that have worked on it have since the beginning all pretty much gone, except for like a few of them, in almost every regard. I'm talking about not necessarily voice actors, just animators, showrunners, creators. Pendleton Ward, the creator who really was the pioneer of the show, who also worked on shows like Flapjack, with J.D. Quintel, the creator of regular show, stepped down after 5 years or so and just kind of worked on the show as sort of a storyboard artist. I mean, this show has gone through many changes, and this show has changed like 5 times. Like, episode 1 and the last episode that's come out is nothing alike, and the show has pretty much changed each season. Change has came from it, and you can take like many different points from the shows, and they're all completely different. Completely different levels of animation, of style, of quality, and I think that's kind of what makes Adventure Time special in a way. Is it's not consistent, but it has its goods and its bads, of course. Maybe I'll get into that when I sort of review the show, which I'm going to do in kind of a second. But really, what I want to talk about next, sort of the big thing that is important, is my relationship to Adventure Time. As you can tell, I at one point really enjoyed it, and I'm not saying I don't anymore, but my relationship with Adventure Time is a long one. So first of all, I guess I'll just talk about beginning to now, where I was when it first came out, where I was now. I remember seeing that short in 2007, that Adventure Time short on Nickelodeon and on the internet, and how big it was. Millions of people saw it as well, and laughing my ass off and being like, "This is great. This is awesome. How cool would it be if this was a show?" Of course, that was a pipe dream. And this was around 2007. I wouldn't say the cartoons were dead, but definitely was a rough spot. I mean, name a really, really good cartoon that was going on in 2007. I mean, I guess Avatar: Last Airbender was still going on, which is my favorite cartoon of all time. But besides that, it kind of was a dark period. I mean, Cartoon Network did have Chowder and Flapjack, but they were both okay shows, I suppose. I think Flapjack is a show I kind of look back on as positive, and Chowder's all right, but they're nothing like huge. Nickelodeon had Avatar, and that's about it. SpongeBob was still going on, but that was past the point of its golden age. And there really was nothing going on. Like, it kind of was just like a slump, I think, and one of the low points in the history of anime television. But I remember in 2009 hearing that Adventure Time, the show, the little 10-minute short, was being picked up for a show on Cartoon Network, and I was so excited. First of all, I am a huge Cartoon Network fan to begin with. I mean, like I said, I was a dark age, but I've watched Cartoon Network since I was a kid. I've loved so many of their programs. I was so excited. I'm like, this is perfect. Cartoon Network is the perfect place for Adventure Time. But I remember in my head, you know, a 10-minute short about a boy and a dog saving a princess from an old ice wizard while unicorn was screaming. I'm like, how are they gonna turn that into a show? I mean, I guess it's just let's go on adventures. Like, that was a big concern for me. It was like, even that young in 2009, I'm like, how are they gonna turn this into a show? And I remember watching. I'm like one of the OG of Adventure Time fans, which is weird because I wouldn't even call myself an Adventure Time fan anymore. But basically, it was 2000 and 2010. I watched the premiere of the show live on television, and I just remember being like, huh, this is something special. I could just tell this was something made of love, and it was different. There wasn't really anything like it. There was really nothing like it. So I watched the show through season 1, which I enjoyed. There were some episodes I enjoyed more than others, but overall, I think I laughed at it and was just like, lols, this is random and fun. And then season 2, which I thought was way better, and started getting into sort of like story arcs that I'm like, ooh, who's this Lich character? Ooh, what's going on here? And I kind of got interested in the lore of Adventure Time, which before the only really children's cartoon that I was interested in the lore was like Avatar, and I'm like, this could go places. And I remember season 3, which is, I think, not only my favorite season, but one of the best seasons of children's television show. I think Adventure Time season 3 is crisp as fuck. I literally just made a list of like my favorite Adventure Time episodes, and like 60% of them are from season 3. I really think season 3 is just top notch, and I remember falling in love with it. Season 4 I thought was really solid as well. And then I remember watching season 5, and like the first half of season 5, it was 52 episodes. I remember the first 26 being really solid again. Through all these 5 seasons, there were some episodes that weren't good. It was a little inconsistent, but overall, I enjoyed it. I loved it, and I remember like watching I Remember You, which was like, you know, such an emotional roller coaster, and then seeing like the Lich episode and the 2-part episode. I mean, like, they could really delve into this lore. I'm so excited to see what they go. And that's, unfortunately, when Adventure Time lost me. The second half of season 5 just kind of lost me, and I stopped watching it after watching it for, at this point, like 3 or 4 years? About 3 years? 4 years? Almost 4 years? About 4 years. And I just kind of fell off of it. And that was so weird, because like I was in love with the show. And then I just kind of stopped watching it. And then season 6 came out, and season 7 came out, and season 8 came out, and I saw snippets, but I kind of missed it. I heard, oh, they did a whole mini series with Marceline. That's pretty cool. Wait, what? They did a whole mini series on an island? That sounds all right. And then about a year ago, I said I gotta catch up, because I remember they announced the finale. So I sat down and I watched season 6, 7, 8. And then I watched kind of 9 and 10 when they kind of came out, sort of. And, wow, season 6 was just awful. Like, it was just like, episodes were so inconsistently paced and bad and written. It wasn't funny anymore. It felt very, almost like pretentious. It was weird. Like, the show, like, was like, oh yeah, we can do whatever we want. We are so good. And it's like, are you? They had weird plot lines, like the Gunther plot line being like Orgalog or whatever his name was. Like, it just wasn't that good. And then season 7, I just remember feeling very mad and being like, wow, this show is not what it used to be, because all the creators left. Rebecca Sugar went to go make Adventure Time. Ian Jones went to go make OKKO Heroes and Let's Be Heroes. And all these kind of creators just left, and it really is just a shell of itself. But I remember it getting better as season 8, 9, and 10. The last 3 seasons, I thought, very inconsistent. I mean, there were some really bad episodes in there, but there were some gems in there. Like, I remember there being some really, really good episodes. I really loved the Islands arc. The Elemental arc the Elements and Stakes arc were both pretty alright, and there were some other really solid episodes in there. But that's my history with Adventure Time. Very up and then just very down. I kind of fell out of love with it. And that was a very heartbreaking thing for me. But I think, now if you guys saw my top 8 cartoons, top 10 animated TV shows of 2000, children's animated TV shows of the 2010s, you would know Adventure Time is at number 6, which, hearing this, you're like, number 6? You can think of 5 cartoons you like more than Adventure Time? And just in this decade? And you're wearing an Adventure Time hat? Yeah, because that's the thing about Adventure Time. That's what we're going to talk about. It is revolutionary. I think Adventure Time is the most revolutionary cartoon ever to be made. Like, seriously, like, before 2010, it felt like there were no real, especially children's cartoons that you could sit down and get into and be like, oh, let's like explore worlds and have all this shit go on. But then you kind of look at the cartoon structure, like Adventure Time was just kind of like a lot of one-off, cartoony, zany, wacky episodes with some lore in it. But then shows like Steven Universe, Rebecca Sugar, who got to start from Adventure Time, who pretty much wrote Marceline's character, which is like the best character in the show, in my opinion. Some of her episodes are the best of the show. She goes on to make Steven Universe, which is like Adventure Time, except with an overarching plotline and all the lore that you want. Well, have a little more, but way more than Adventure Time. And then you have shows like OKKO, which sort of borrows from that wacky, zany style. Like, all these shows couldn't exist without Adventure Time. And then regular show kind of picked up a lot of steam. Gravity Falls, which not necessarily directly inspired, but the structures and the art style and the tones of going in, doing darker tones in children's cartoons like Adventure Time did, you know, it kind of shifted, you know. And I think like shows like Gravity Falls and stuff like that came after Adventure Time were more mature and more they're stylistically sort of interesting because of Adventure Time. I know a lot of people say it's the Cal Arts art style and they're all kind of the same, but I disagree with that. And I think that Adventure Time was really the pioneer for these shows. I don't think Adventure Time is the best show of this decade. A lot of episodes I love, a lot of memorable moments I love, but you cannot say it's not one of the most revolutionary shows of this decade, and really anime TV shows of all time. It really sort of changed how cartoons were perceived, from being just like silly colors on a TV screen to being sort of like, I don't know, like stylistically interesting and mature and dark and deep sort of TV shows. And Adventure Time sometimes isn't even that some of the times, but it inspired that. And I'm not to say that before Adventure Time those shows didn't exist. They definitely did. But Adventure Time sort of, I think, made those shows more accessible and more, I don't know what the word is, just more relevant or more common, especially for children to watch. So, yeah, I mean, Adventure Time is not my favorite TV show or cartoon, not by a long shot, not even of this decade. But it does have a special place in my heart. I grew up with this show, and the show it is now is not what it is when it came out, for better and worse. But the show that I watched, Adventure Time that I grew up with, the Adventure Time, the TV show that's ending this Monday, has a special place in my heart, and got me back into cartoons. Because I mean, before I'd watch cartoons, but man, then that got me back into it. And then I saw a regular show and Gumball and Gravity Falls and Legend of Korra and Over the Garden Wall, another show directly responsible. Adventure Time is directly responsible for OKKO, which I'm really enjoying, you know. And now Infinity Train just got picked up. That's definitely all these shows I just named, maybe besides Korra, probably wouldn't have existed or would have been drastically different in style and tone if not for Adventure Time. It pioneered children's television show, which is why now I'm talking about the growth and the change, because I think that is the biggest theme in Adventure Time. Like I said, the show has changed more times than you can count. Season 1 and Season 3 there's a change there. From Season 3 to Season 5, big change. Season 5, Season 6, Season 7, all changes all the way up to now. The show changed, and I think that the show kind of embraces that. Sometimes not in great ways, but sometimes in great ways. Finn, for example, has changed completely. We've seen not only his physical sort of elements and emotional and other parts of him change, but the voice actor himself grew up with the show. He started when he was 12, and now he's in his 20s, I think, early 20s. His voice physically changed. We've seen, you know, Jake kind of change in weird ways. I don't know. Like, Bubblegum is not who she was when the show started. Like, all these characters, Ice King definitely is not who he was when the show started. Marceline, all these characters sort of changed, and we kind of grew up with them. And it's unfortunate the show is not perfect and has, I think, plenty of bad moments, even bad seasons, bad stretches of like episodes, like 15 episodes that are just bad. It's unfortunate. But I think that the show sort of embraces change, and I think it shows that Adventure Time sort of changed everything. Something else Adventure Time, you see me wearing an Adventure Time hat. Cartoons before Adventure Time weren't really marketable. I mean, you didn't really see like people wearing like cartoon shows like merchandise, but as soon as Adventure Time came out, you saw so many people, all ages, wearing Adventure Time shirts, hats, Adventure Time everything. And I think that kind of changed, and now shows are marketed that way. You see a lot of merchandise, for example, Rick and Morty, and oh, look at that, it's a poster. Like cartoon merchandise and cartoon, which is good and bad, of course, became very popular because of Adventure Time. I mean, it really did change a lot, launched the careers of Rebecca Sugar and Jones Courtley, all of these people that worked with the show, and launched, even helped grow other people's careers. Like, it really did pioneer so many different things. But I think the last thing I really want to say is just how this show, I think, sort of, I don't want this. I think this show is ending in a sad way. I'm very excited for the end of Adventure Time. I want to see it, and I'm probably going to review it on my podcast on Tuesday with Bob. I'll probably do a review of it, and I kind of want to talk about it. I really hope it's good, but I think Adventure Time sort of just fell off. I noticed that. Like, around the 5th season, when I stopped watching, it felt like everyone stopped watching. All that merchandise I saw, everyone wearing the Adventure Time stuff, kind of stopped. And I would still watch Cartoon Network, but I wouldn't see Adventure Time ads. Like, even with this ending, like the show ending, it feels like Cartoon Network is just like, yeah, they advertised it a little bit, but I don't see commercials for it. And when I'm watching Cartoon Network, you know, I remember when Adventure Time was first starting, the promotions for that show was insane. There were like 7 promotions, like every 30 minutes on Cartoon Network. Like, you'd see like Adventure Time, blah, 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 and now it just seems like they kind of abandoned it because like Teen Titans Go is making them more money, or like Gumball is making them more money. They're kind of not really advertising, pushing for that, the finale, and they're not. I think they're sort of not giving the attention it deserves. Cartoon Network absolutely owes everything it has right now to Adventure Time. It absolutely not only sort of brought Cartoon Network back to relevance, but really just spiked their market, added interest in cartoons again, and they have been super successful since Adventure Time. And it just kind of feels like a shame when I don't. It's just a shame when I don't see them sort of like, I don't know, giving them a week-long marathon, or you know, showing more promotions, promoting it more, talking about it more. And like the last season, which had like 12 episodes, releasing like 4 episodes at the same time every like 6 months is ridiculous. I feel like they really just kind of abandoned the show that gave them what it did. And I know it's because they got much less viewers. It kind of fell off. It kind of died almost, and people kind of stopped caring about it. I understand that. But that doesn't mean you don't owe it to the show for being one of the most influential TV shows of all time and really changing your channel. So it's a little sad for me that Cartoon Network seemed to just completely ignore this show by the time it kind of fell off. And I mean, I guess from a business point of perspective, it makes sense, but it's just a shame. But doesn't matter. I know there's parts of the show I love, parts of the show I hate. And overall, if I had to rate the show from beginning to end, like all the seasons, all the episodes, I'd say it's an above average show, and I'd probably give it like a 7 or 8 out of 10. Like overall, I think there are seasons like season 3 that I'd give like a 9 out of 10, while there's seasons like season 6 that I'd give like a 6 out of 10, 5 out of 10. Like, I just 4 out of 10 maybe even. Like, it's just a shame that Cartoon Network sort of abandoned the show. But even though its quality dipped and a lot of stuff happened, the rocky production and the show has changed in so many different ways for better and worse, I still think the show needs to be praised, and I think it will be remembered as the show that changed cartoons forever. And I think arguably it is the most revolutionary, not only animated show of all time, but animated TV show of all time. It changed how animation is perceived, how animation, especially children's animation, how the tone and the styles are crafted to not just appeal to kids but to adults. and how it launched so many careers and TV shows, made children's cartoon merchandise and just cartoon merchandise in general marketable, and how it just changed, how we watch TV. And I'm gonna miss it. I really am. I don't watch it anymore. I haven't watched the last 3 seasons live. I watched them all after they came out. So I'm, but I'm partially, responsible for its decline. And it's not, they're not canceling it. It's just ending, and I think it needs to end. It should have probably ended a long time ago, but it's getting the ending it deserves. This Monday, 6 p.m. Eastern time, which is, by the way, a terrible time. Couldn't make it 7 or 8, whatever. 6 p.m. Eastern time, an hour-long special. It's ending all this Monday. Go watch it. I will do a review on Tuesday on my podcast with Bob. And also, this Saturday, for my Minecraft stream. Yeah, I stream Minecraft and watch Adventure Time. Yeah, I'm stuck in 2010. No, for my Minecraft stream that I'm playing with you guys this Saturday, we will be using the Adventure Time texture pack, skin pack for the world, for Twitch City. So you get to see Twitch City and the Adventure Time sort of style, or the Adventure Time texture pack. And that's sort of my send-off, my bye-bye to Adventure Time, because I want to I kind of want to shout it out, because although I can shit on it, and I can think of many different shows that have come out recently that I love way more, that directly inspired, you can't say it's not a revolutionary show that deserves to be praised in its own right. And sure, it has some low points, but it really sort of added a lot to children's television. It did a lot of things no other cartoon did before it. So I love it. I gotta thank it, and I hope it has a good finale. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Check out my other videos on YouTube. Go to my Twitch if you're watching this on YouTube. I stream all the time. Go in my chat. Ask me questions about cartoons, Adventure Time. I'll talk to you while I'm playing whatever fucking game I'm playing. I'll be playing Bayonetta 2, and I'll talk to you about Adventure Time. I'll do it. So please tune into my streams. Comment, send tweets to me, whatever you want to do about Adventure Time. Tell me if you've ever seen it, what it means to you. I want to talk to you guys about it. So I hope to see you guys soon in my streams. Sorry I kind of ignored some of you in the chat, but I hope to see you guys soon. Bye-bye. And as always, you all know what time it is. It's Adventure Time.